This is the new Zhiyun Crane M3S, which looks almost exactly like this one, the Zhiyun Crane M3.
They are identical to a degree that would not be anticipated from any two isolates from the same family.
But there are certain differences, and in this video I'm going to tell you about what those differences are so that you can decide which one you should be getting by the time you finish watching this video. So welcome back to another video. My name is Mario So, and if you're new here, consider subscribing for more content from me. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for coming back.
It's great to see you here.
So today we'll be talking about the Zhiyun Crane M3S, the brand new, slightly updated version to the Crane M3. So I have a full video talking about the M3. If you haven't checked that out, you can check that video out right here or in the description below to get a better understanding of the features of that gimbal. So I really love the M3 for its compact size and its ability to carry full frame cameras with a smaller lens. This was really great for traveling, for shoots where I didn't want to bring a ton of gear or a huge gimbal. I actually brought this to Maui and even used this for a commercial shoot when I was out there, and it handled my a7 IV full frame Sony mirrorless camera pretty well. The M3S, just in the few days that I've had to test this gimbal, seems to be a little bit more powerful, and the moves that I'm able to get with it are a little bit smoother compared to the M3. So the M3S looks pretty much exactly the same. Still has this really nice sleek white look, but there are a few improvements on this gimbal that sort of address some of the annoying things that I've experienced with the M3. So right off the bat, the Crane M3S has stronger motors, and therefore it's more compatible with more camera and lens combinations. So it can take slightly heavier setups, but because the body is pretty much still the same as the M3, you're still pretty restricted in terms of what combinations you can use because you won't have enough clearance at the top of the gimbal. There's a full list of compatible camera bodies and lenses, so I'll be linking that in the description below if you wanted to check that out. The second difference is that this gimbal comes with a brand new locking mechanism. And this is a great upgrade in my opinion, because on the M3, there used to be this lock at the top that I would accidentally bump into all the time, and it would just lock the gimbal without me really wanting that to lock. The new lock design is nicer and it's much more optimized. So in terms of the body and the handle, they're both pretty similar. You still get the trigger button and the scroll wheel on both of these. The fill light is also on the same side, but one of the difference comes in the locking mechanism on the M3. So this lock over here is the same, it's still in the same spot. It locks the pan axis. On the M3, where this lock was pretty hidden all the way back here, sure you can see right there, it was all the way back here. It'll be kind of a little bit obscure and difficult to reach that lock from this gimbal. On the M3S, that lock is no longer there, but it's much easier to access right here. The roll axis right here. So right here, as opposed to hidden down there. The other axis that is much nicer in my opinion, on the M3, you had this axis right here, and this will come loose pretty often for me, and it would just by mistake lock this thing. But on the Crane M3S, there's nothing up here, but the lock is actually conveniently located over here. The next difference is that the M3S comes with a Bluetooth shutter control function. So you can now connect the gimbal to your camera via Bluetooth, and that would allow you to wirelessly control the shutter button on your camera by pressing the recording button on your gimbal. You get slightly more settings on the menu here. So as you scroll down, you get the Bluetooth shutter button, fine tuning, advanced features with panorama, time lapse, motion lapse, vortex mode. To set up the Bluetooth shutter, go to settings, scroll down to Bluetooth shutter, and then now you make the adjustments on the camera. On your camera, go to Bluetooth, make sure it's on, and you go into pairing. Once you're back here on the gimbal, select your camera and it'll connect. Now, once you press this record button on your gimbal, recording will start on your camera. The next improvement is a brand new 2-in-1 quick release system. You can now keep the gimbal balanced even if you take off the camera. Also, with this new quick release system, you're able to quickly swap batteries, which was a challenge with the previous quick release system on the M3. The only negative side of this is that now you need a screwdriver to tighten this plate to the camera, whereas on the M3, you did not need a screwdriver because you could just tighten this thing directly from the camera plate. In terms of battery life, the M3S has slightly less battery life compared to the M3. The M3 had 8 hours of battery runtime, and this one, the M3S, has about 7.5. In my opinion, this is not a huge difference, and all the other upgrades make up for this slight reduction in battery life. Like the M3, this also takes about 2 hours to charge using PD fast charge. There is a slight improvement as well on the built-in fill light on this gimbal. The M3's fill light was about 800 lux. The M3S's fill light is a little bit brighter at 1000 lux. This light is also bicolor, so that is not changing from the M3. The other difference is that the M3S does not come with the microphone module anymore, which was on the M3. In my opinion, this was kind of useless. I never really used it. And because of the removal of the microphone module, the Crane M3S only comes in 2 options, the standard version and the combo version. Whereas the M3 had also the Pro version, and that was the version that came with the microphone kit and microphone module. So the M3S in its standard version comes at $299 US, and that will include just the gimbal and the mini tripod. And for comparison, the current price on the Zhiyun Crane M3 is, for the standard kit, is $279 at the time of the making of this video. So the new M3S is going to run you about $20 more expensive. The combo version of the Crane M3S will run you $359 US, and that also includes the little white bag and the phone mount. In comparison to the Zhiyun Crane M3, the combo version for that gimbal is $20 cheaper at $339 US. So which of these 2 gimbals should you be getting? Well, if you already have the Crane M3, I would just stick with the Crane M3 because the Crane M3S, although it has some pretty good improvements, it might not be worth upgrading because you're just getting a few slight improvements on it. But if you did not have the Crane M3 already and are looking for a compact gimbal of this size, then I would skip the M3 and go directly into the Crane M3S. I like the new improved locking mechanism. I like the Bluetooth shutter control function, and I also like the new quick release system. Some of the things that I don't like though is that if you have other quick release plates built in your workflow, like an Arca Swiss plate or a Manfrotto quick release plate, then this is not going to work for you all that well because it has its own quick release plate system. You can probably add some sort of plate receiver on this gimbal, but given the small form factor of this gimbal, that might not be a good idea because then that would just reduce the amount of clearance you have on the gimbal. And that would also add into the weight that you put into this gimbal.
Oh, don't do that.
So all in all, the Crane M3S is a really good gimbal. It's not a brand new gimbal, and I think that's why it's not called the Crane M4, but it's rather a slightly improved Crane M3. And that's why it's called the Crane M3S. So anyways, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you learned something new, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. That would be greatly appreciated. And until next time.